What transforms a rough plank of wood into a chair sturdy enough to support a person for decades? When you look at a finished wooden chair, it's almost too easy to overlook the journey it's taken from living tree to humble household object. But behind the simplicity of a wooden chair is a story of chemistry, craftsmanship, and clever design that's been unfolding for centuries. The journey begins, of course, in the forest. Not all trees are destined for furniture, and selecting timber is an art in itself. For chairs, maple, oak, walnut, and beech are favorites, known for their strength, flexibility, and beautiful grain. Imagine walking through a forest, looking up at 100 towering trunks, and trying to spot which one might one day hold you up by your dining table. Harvesting the tree is more than just cutting it down. Furniture makers care about the way the tree grew. Was it twisted by wind? Did it have a straight trunk? These details matter because wood remembers. Any tension, any twist can become a weakness or a beautiful flourish in the final product. Once harvested, the log is cut into large boards at a sawmill. But these rough-cut planks aren't usable right away. Fresh wood is loaded with moisture, and that water needs to be removed before anything else happens. Otherwise, the chair will crack, warp, or even sprout mold once it's in your home. The process of drying, or seasoning, can take months. Some workshops stack their planks for a year or more, letting air and time do the work. Others use kilns, huge ovens that speed up the process while maintaining careful control, because too rapid drying makes wood brittle and unpredictable. After drying, each board is carefully inspected. This is where the phrase "measure twice, cut once" becomes a mantra. Knots, splits, and insect holes determine which parts of the wood are strong enough for legs, seats, or backs. Even the direction of the grain, the pattern of fibers running through the wood, influences which part is suited for which chair component. The grain affects both strength and appearance, so a skilled woodworker sees possibilities and pitfalls in every square inch. At this stage, design comes into play. A chair might seem simple, but every part has a purpose. The seat bears the weight, the legs transfer it to the floor, and the backrest supports your spine. Each joint, where two pieces meet, has to be strong enough to handle years of sitting, shifting, and dragging across the kitchen floor. Classic joinery like mortise and tenon or dowel joints have stood the test of centuries. They don't just keep the chair together. They allow the wood to expand and contract with humidity without cracking or wobbling. So, the wood is cut, shaped, and sanded. Power tools handle the rough shaping, but the final smoothing is usually done by hand for that satin-soft finish. Here, there's both patience and skill. A careless move can leave a gouge, but a practiced hand draws out that signature silky feel you notice when your fingers glide over the armrest. Before the parts are assembled, some chairs get a little extra magic. Bending. Wood is surprisingly flexible when treated with steam. In an age-old process, strips of wood are heated in a steam box until their fibers soften, then clamped around curves. A method used for everything from the backrests of classic Windsor chairs to the sweeping shapes of modern Scandinavian designs. When the wood cools and dries, the curve holds, opening up new worlds of style and ergonomics. Assembly is the moment where everything comes together, literally. Glue, dowels, screws, or pegs secure the joints. Sometimes the entire chair is clamped and left overnight to give adhesives time to cure. Even here, there's attention to detail. Excess glue is wiped away, and every joint is checked for tightness and alignment. The chair must feel solid, not wobbly. This is the point of truth, where weeks or months of care meet the simple test of gravity. But even now, the chair isn't finished. The next phase is about protecting and beautifying the wood. A finish of oil, wax, or lacquer seals the wood from moisture, highlights the grain, and gives that subtle sheen. Some finishes are left matte to invite hands to touch the wood. Others are glossy, reflecting the light in the dining room. This isn't just about looks. A proper finish is the difference between a chair that lasts generations and one that ends up in the landfill after a spill or a humid summer. Now, the chair stands on its own 4 legs, ready for use. At first glance, it's easy to take it for granted. But every chair is also a history of choices, a chain of decisions, risks, and skills. From the selection of timber to the final brush stroke of varnish, the journey is as much about honoring the material as it is about creating something practical. There's a quiet philosophy embedded in every step of this process, captured in the words, "We shape our buildings, and afterward, our buildings shape us." In the case of a wooden chair, the craftsman's hands transform raw, living material into a tool for living, gathering, sharing meals, telling stories, and growing old with the furniture itself. Let's reflect for a moment on what this process reveals. Every wooden chair you've ever sat in was once a tree, flexing in the wind, growing slowly over decades. The craftsman who built your chair played interpreter, reading knots and curves, measuring twice and cutting once, finding ways to fuse strength with beauty. The act of turning tree into chair is an act of respect, demanding patience and intentionality. In the language of ancient wisdom, there's a line, "The workman's hand is in the thing he makes." As you run your fingers along the grain of a chair or notice the joinery, you're not just using a tool for sitting. You're engaging with a story, told in rings and fibers, sweat and skill. There's another philosophy that rings true here. Nothing made by hand is ever truly flawless, and that's part of the beauty. If you look closely at a handmade wooden chair, you'll often find minute differences, perhaps a subtle asymmetry in the curve of a leg, or the faint trace of a tool in the seat. These are signatures, reminders that a human being shaped this object, infusing it with time and care. Think also about the endurance of design. The humble wooden chair has barely changed in basic form for centuries. Maybe the styles have shifted. Victorian thrones, Shaker simplicity, sleek mid-century silhouettes, but the essentials remain. 4 legs, a seat, a back. Its elegance born of necessity, proof that the simplest solutions endure the longest. From another angle, the journey of a chair is a microcosm of how humans work with nature. We don't invent wood or its grain, its strength, its warmth. Instead, we partner with it, respecting its properties while prodding it to new purpose. The maker's role is to listen to the wood, follow its logic, and coax it into usefulness. One could see the process as an ongoing conversation between the forest and the craftsman and the user, the object and the space it inhabits. A wooden chair is silent, but it speaks through its creaks and comfort, its stability and occasional complaint when dragged across the floor. It holds memories and daily routines, gatherings and solitude. In literature, everyday objects often symbolize the passage of time and the importance of tradition. A wooden chair absorbs generations. It sits patiently beside cribs, kitchens, desks, and beds. In some families, chairs outlast the builders themselves, passed down with the wear and patina of years. The act of mending a chair, too, is part of its story. Proof that value doesn't always come from the new, but from the willingness to repair and continue. There's also something deeply communal about the making of a chair. No process is truly solitary. The tree grew in a forest shaped by storms and sunlight, The mill worker sliced the logs, the carpenter transformed the planks, and perhaps another hand will reupholster the seat or refinish the wood someday. Every chair is built on layers of knowledge, discovered, tested, and refined over generations. The chair becomes a meeting point for the wisdom of many, not just the skill of one. When you think about it, the next time you sit down, you're part of this chain. Your weight, your presence, carries the story onward. Maybe the chair creaks a little, reminding you of how long it stood, how many have rested here before you. So the next time you see a wooden chair, you can see not just the joints and grain, but the long journey from tree to timber, design to assembly, smoothing to finishing. Each step is evidence, not only of human ingenuity, but of humility. The best builders don't force wood into submission. They work with it, letting the strength of the material guide their hands. Why does this matter? Because the things we make and the things we use shape how we live. A well-made chair doesn't just support our bodies. It supports our lives, our conversations, our celebrations, even our moments of stillness and thought. In the end, the real magic of a wooden chair is that it bridges worlds, linking forest and fireside, nature and nurture, tradition and tomorrow.